Well, it's time for today's trending ticker. Let's take a look at shares of Lucid. Heading downhill this morning after third quarter vehicle production fell 32% from a year ago and nearly 29% from the last quarter. The EV maker delivered 1,457 of its Air sedans in Q3. That's compared to 1,404 in the previous quarter. Shares of Lucid are down more than 25% so far this year. Rochelle, when you think about Lucid's story, there are really two key concerns here. The inventory that we just flagged right now. Yes, they delivered more, but at the end of the day, that means they're still accumulating inventory. That's not a good thing for a company like Lucid. But also, when you think about cost right now, we're talking about cars that are upwards of $75,000 to $80,000 at a time where consumers are increasingly sort of tightening their wallets a bit. And you have to wonder what the appetite is for a car like Lucid, a luxury EV in this environment.
It's true. I mean, when you think of other companies, of course, namely Tesla is the one that always comes to mind when we think of EVs. But when you think of their delivery targets versus the cost that you see for a vehicle like a Lucid, I mean, it's concerning. And when they report earnings, I believe it's November 7th, these are going to be some of the questions that people have. Because the way that they actually have their supply line, they do a lot of the pieces come and they get assembled in Saudi Arabia. So you have this much longer supply chain here, whereas we're seeing Tesla being a lot more nimble about how it's shipping out its vehicles. So if it's still producing less than expected at this point, as you're also already seeing some of these legacy car makers pulling ahead and ramping up production, Lucid really being caught on the back foot here.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla has larger scales, so not sure if it's not necessarily an apples to apples comparison, but you're certainly right. I mean, there's a lot of competition in the EV space. Lucid has always argued they're competing on the higher end. But as we see consumers sort of rethink where they want to be spending their money, with other car makers having those federal incentives in place, you have to wonder, how uphill that struggle is for Lucid moving forward.